What's going down? This is your man Dante of Dante Records Music Group, and today I'm going to bring you another mix breakdown. This song today is titled Hold On by my man, no other than Missiono, and his producer, DJ Metamorphosis. Shout out to you cats out in DC. And oh, by the way, I heard you. That's right, I heard you. You want more audio examples. And so we're going to give you more audio examples during this mix breakdown. You already know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into this. All right, let's go. All right, so the song is titled Hold On. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to let you hear the mastered track that I received when I first got this. The producer, he sent me his master mix of the instrumental. So I'm gonna let you see and hear. Let me just say that I'm gonna let you hear what that sounds like. So let's go.
That boy back later.
Okay, so now you've heard his master copy of the instrumental. Now, after I've done all my processing and so forth, I will now let you hear, after all my processing, without the lead vocal, what it sounds like. All right, so check it out. Here's the comparison.
That boy back later.
All right, so we'll go back, and I'll go back and forth one time here. So here's what it sounded like before. And here's what it sounds like now. All right, so check it out. Hopefully you can hear the difference in the two examples here. So let's go ahead and get into it. So as any other mix breakdown, when I do a mix breakdown, I always talk about gain staging first. So we're not going to talk about that today, but today we'll talk about what's going on with my drums, and that's where I start. I like to get my drums kicking, and I'm going to turn everything off on my drum bus so that we're only hearing the raw drum and everything on the drum channel itself. And so we're going to take a listen to the drums without any processing. Okay, so there's the drum raw. It's already been gain staged. And one thing I do when I'm working with the drums, the kick drum, especially a 808, is I like to turn off my satellite speakers. And if you don't know what that is, that's my main speakers. And I like to listen to the 808 or the kick just in my sub, so I can see what's going on down in my sub to make sure it's clean, make sure it's punching, make sure it's not hitting too hard. So I start with my sub to start to process my kick drums and my 808s. Now, if you don't have something like that, you can find a good pair of headphones with some low-end bass to be able to kind of achieve the same thing. But I like to start in the sub speaker when I'm dealing with my 808s and my kick. So we're going to start with the first plug-in. I'm going to turn it on so you can start to hear the processing going on and kind of give you some of my thought process as I'm going through. So here's the Foul Filter Pro Q3, and here I just rolled off a little bit at the end on the bottom because I didn't need all that information there on this particular kick or 808 that I'm working on. All right, so actually it's a kick, so I didn't really need that low end that I was in that area there, so I took it out. So here's the difference. Check it out. Now, as you can see, or as you can hear, the kick got tighter. It got a little tighter. And that's really what I want. I wanted that tightness and that punch on that kick. And then we're bringing the next plug in. Got the pull tech. And here you'll see at 60 right here, I boost it here until it sounded good. I'll let you see what that sounds like. And so it gave me a little more punch, and it also added some color to the kick as well. Also, that Pro Q3, it does the same. It adds some color to it as well. Yeah, so the next plug-in on the kick is a compressor. And so basically it's a Neutron 3 comp, very, very transparent compressor. And so that's why I like to use it. So let's take a listen. And it just kind of like, it tightened it up, made it more punchy. Let's take another listen. It got more thump, boom, boom, instead of bop, bop, bop. It was like more thump in there, and that's what I wanted, more thump. And then I got the gold clip. And here I just brought the ceiling down about negative 9.7. And basically this is just going to allow me to get my kick louder. Also, it's going to smooth it out a little bit more. And so you can hear the kick kind of got bigger, got more rounder. And the only thing I was trying to do, let me play it back again, is you see this peak right here on the kick. Basically, I was just trying to knock that peak down on the kick right here. Okay, so that's the processing on the kick. And next is I'll bring in the snare. So let's listen to the snare without any processing. And it wasn't a whole lot that I did on the snare, just a little bit. So let's take a listen. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on down. We got the Pro Q3. Let's open it up. And so I did a high pass on it up to about 90 on the snare, just rolled it off. So let's take a listen. And so by doing that, it moved the snare out of the way of the kick drum. And as you roll off the low end, it actually gets brighter on the top. So if you ever think that something's not bright enough, try rolling off some of the low end. And that'll actually make it brighter at the top. Okay? Less low end, brighter at the top. Less high end, darker at the bottom. More bass at the bottom. Okay? So kind of use those techniques. So again, you see I really didn't do a whole lot here because great sounding samples don't require a whole lot. All right, so then I went here and added Neutron 3, kind of glue it together, control some of the peaks and so forth. So let's take a listen. As you can see, it got tighter, it got a little fuller, it got a little more warmer, and so that's what I was going for. All right, that's what I was going for. A little bit warmer, tighter. A little bit more controlled. As you can hear, it's controlled better. And so let's move down to the hi-hat now. All right, so here's the hi-hat. All right, so let's hear it with the processing on it. Again, there's my Pro Q3. It's my Swiss Army knife. So I rolled off some on the bottom, and there was some harsh frequencies at the top that I didn't like in the hi-hat, so I just rolled them off just a little bit, dipped them out just a little bit, because the hi-hat seemed to be too bright. And if it's too bright, it can be harsh on the ears, and you can get ear fatigue after listening for a long period of time. All right, so let's take a listen. And you can see how the hi-hats, they pop forward, and it just sounds good. And if it sounds good, then and it makes you happy, then that's what I go with. It's not rocket science where I'm just, overthinking. Don't overthink. If it sounds good, it feel good, then that's what it is. Then go with it. That's what I'm saying. Let's go with it. So that felt good. I changed the compressor on this because I like the Waves R comp. I like their R comp on percussion type instruments. It just sounds good to me. So I use it. So let's take a listen. And if you listen, as you listen and I engage this, it kind of puts the hi-hat in a place where it needs to be in the mix. Because at first it's kind of poking out a little bit, but it kind of controls it and it puts it in a place where it needs to be. One more listen. You can hear the snare more. Now watch when I disengage it. The snare doesn't sound as poppy or as snappy as it does when it's engaged. So now you hear the snare just popping out more and also the kick popping out more. Okay, so here's another hi-hat. Again, I rolled it off till it sounded good to me. And then I dipped out some harsh frequencies at the top that I didn't like. So let's take a listen. All right, so we'll engage the Pro Q3. Let's take a listen. Yeah, that sounds good. I probably could have just left it alone like that, but nope. We're going to add some compression on that just to control it. So let's take a listen. And so when I gauge that, again, the snare pops back out. Things sound glued together, more consistent, more balanced. And so that's why I like how that sounds. All right, so then we got an open hi-hat. Let's take a listen. And right now it sounds like it's over top of everything. So let's engage the Pro Q3. Again, rolled off some of this harshness stuff at the top. And then I also put another high pass on it. Let's take a listen. All right, so let's engage now the R comp. Okay, so hopefully you can hear the difference. Everything again, it got glued together, got tighter, and then we got a crash. It's not playing in very many spots, so I'll just kind of let me just go here and loop this real quick so we can hear that crash. Pro Q3, engage. Rolled off some more of this top. So the process hasn't changed. So the process hasn't changed. I'm rolling it off at the bottom. I'm getting rid of harsh frequencies at the top that I don't like. And don't get caught on the numbers because your instruments may be different. And that's why I'm not kind of, oh, let me show you what this number is, or let me show you what that number is, and so forth, because it's going to be different. You have to use your ears. You got to dial it in. It's not going to be the same. So it makes no sense for me to kind of show you all my settings and say, hey, yeah, this and that, because at the end of the day, if you want to become a good engineer, you have to use your ears and listen to your ears to make good decisions, okay, on your mix. So that's why I'm not trying to, hey, here's a number, here's a number, here's a number, and so forth. But I'm telling you what I did to give you an idea of why I'm doing this, why you see cuts here, because it was kind of bright, and I didn't want it to be as bright as it was, and because it was kind of harsh, and again, your ears are get fatigued quickly listening to harsh stuff in your mix. Okay, so let's bring in. Let's do that one more time. All right, so let's bring in the R comp. Okay, moving right along. So then we have some tamarines. Of course, percussion instruments, like I said, I'm always going to process them pretty much the same. Not as far as EQ goes, but as far as rolling them off, adding some compression, and I don't always do this. If it needs it, I'll do it. If it doesn't need it, if the percussion sounds great, I won't bother it. Okay, that's the bottom line. So let's see the hi-hats. You see as I engage this and disengage it, the tambourine is not popping out. But once I engage this EQ, you'll hear the tambourine pop out in the mix. Listen to it. Right, so now you kind of hear that pop out in the mix. So let's go here to the R comp again. Let's add that. And so that compressor again, it tightened up the mix, kind of put everything in perspective, and it kind of balanced it out, put things where they need to be, and kind of also, you know, when you compress something, it's going to get a little darker. And so that was the reason behind the method. And then we had some snaps here, and they're kind of at the top. I don't believe there's anything playing but the snaps. So let's take a listen. All right, so this is before any processing. All right, engaging the Pro Q3. So it got brighter. It's got more snappier, more snap to it. Now let's bring in the compressor. So right now it's bypass. Let's turn it on. All right, I'm gonna back it up so we can just hear the snap. You can hear it got brighter, it got more snappier in your face, and that's what compression does. It makes things come right in your face because basically it's kind of leveling out that frequency spectrum, and you know, brings up those elements that may be low in the sound. And so yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just more snappy. It's more in your face, and that's what's going on here. And then we had some toms that are down here. We'll play the toms. And I treated it similar to percussion instrument, but I didn't do a whole lot to it because it didn't need it. So let's listen without the plugins. As you can hear, the tom had more presence after, you know, removing some of this low end noise that I didn't need. You can hear it got more presence. Got out some mud right here in that frequency range because it had a little mud in it. So I got rid of that, and yeah, it made it pop out, made it more exciting, and that's what you want. Well, that's what I wanted. So make it more exciting. So here we go. Let's listen here. A little bit of compression. So as you can hear, it kind of, again, it glued the mix together. It put everything in perspective. It made it more balanced. You could hear everything glued together, and it had a feel, okay? And that's what you want. And so next is my drum bus, okay? We'll go to my drum bus. So on my drum bus, what we got is God's Particle. And I'm gonna let you hear now a piece, the drums playing without it, and then I'm gonna engage God's Particle, and then I'm gonna engage the SSL comp from Waves. All right, so here we go. Let's bring up God's Particle. So as you can hear, the mix just opened up. Things got more exciting, got more in your face. The track got more aggressive. It got more feeling. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted. That's why I like using God's Particle on my drum bus. And that sometimes changes too. But again, it's what the mix needs, okay? But this is something that's a go-to for myself right now. And then let's go ahead with the SSL comp. Okay, for me, she lost when I turned this SSL comp off. She just lost feeling. You know what I mean? And I wanted to feel it. It just gave me more feeling. It gave it more vibe. It gave the drums more excitement, and that's what you want. All right, so next we'll start with the bass. You know, because once I get my drums popping, then I want to see what's going on with my bass. All right, so here's my bass, and I'm soloing things as I'm going, so we can listen to what's going on. All right, so let's hear the bass by itself. So first plugin, I got the Pro Q3, and actually I did bass ducking with the kick. So when my kick hits, my bass will duck out of the way so I can hear the punch of the kick. All right, so I did do that on this EQ. I did dip out something here. Don't know why, but I would have to listen to figure that out. Here, just rolled off some of the top that I didn't need on the bass. Then I add the lo-fi on it. Give me a little bit distortion, just a little bit. Make the bass a little bit fuller, pop out in your face. Neutron 3 I use. Then I use the MV2 by Waves. Kind of boost the low end and kind of level the high end out also. Then I use Fab Filter C2. And basically I had some more dynamics I wanted to control, and that's the thought of why I used that, okay? So let's take a listen. We'll take a listen with the Pro Q3 first. First we'll listen without, then we'll start to engage some things. All right, so let's take a listen. All right, so let's bring the Pro Q3 in. Let's take a listen. So as you can hear, when I disengage the Pro Q3, the bass sits on top of the music, the kick kind of disappears, and so that's not what I want. But you see here, I didn't roll off anything on the low end side of it because I wanted to hear all that sub information on the bass. in this case. I didn't roll it off. So let's go to the next plugin. It was a lo-fi, add a little distortion. Let's take a listen. As you can hear, it kind of like it picked it up, right? You know what I'm saying? It made it more exciting. It gave it more feel, make you want to just, you know what I'm saying? So it gave it more feel, and that's what I like. And it's just being able to listen to your music and be like, okay, I want to do this. This is why, because I want to bring out these other harmonics in this sound to give me a little bit more girth, a little more, and then gives me more feel. You know what I mean? Okay, let's go to the next plugin. A little compression. This is the Neutron compressor. Like I said, it's very transparent. I keep saying that word transparent. And what I mean by that, check it out, guys. When you got a sound that, okay, on this plugin, I like the way it sounds, and I want to try to maintain that same sound, that's where you want to use a plugin that's transparent, so it's not adding anything or taking away anything from your sound. And that's why you want to use something transparent. All right. And if you got a sound, whether it be on a vocal or something, and I like how that sound, but I know I need to control it a little more, or I know I want to add this on there, find something transparent if you already like your sound. Or better yet, just leave it alone. All right, let's go. All right, let's take a listen. See, a while ago, I thought, man, it sounded good at first, right? But when I put this on there, oh my goodness, it just came to life. I know you heard that. It just came to life. It was just like, oh wow, look at that thing breathe. It just everything just kind of gelled together, and that's what you want. You know what I mean? That's what you want. So let's bring in the next plugin. Here we go. So this is basically like compression, upward and downward compression. Kind of enhance some of the low end and also some of the high end, okay? All right, let's take a listen. That's what's up. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, it just did. Did you just hear that? I did. It just got better. And so let's see what the next plugin is going to do, right? Let's check it out, right? Here we go. Let's get to it. So you can see right here, I'm basically just controlling those peaks that's peaking out there on that bass. Now that sounds great. I'm telling you, it can get better. It can get better. So that's pretty much my bass lines, my foundation for my mix. All right, then I go to my instruments, right? So I had a Rhodes, piano, synth sound. This is the logo, guitar, electric guitar. Then I had some brass and a lead and some horns and some orchestration stuff, right? All right, so basically, I look at mostly what the main instrument is, right? So right here, and I can make this bigger, the waves a little bigger, so y'all can see a little better. Is that the Rhodes is playing a lot in this song? Okay, it's playing a lot, and so what that tells me, that is one of my main instruments. Okay, if something is, if an instrument is playing almost the entire song, that is probably your main instrument and should be a focus as you're starting to mix those instruments in your beat. So let's take a listen to this Rhodes piano. We're going to listen to it without the plugins, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so as you can see, I did a little bit more on this instrument. Of course, high pass rolled off. I did hear some mid-side subtractive EQ. All right, so this is in the mids, and I believe I did this mid subtractive EQ because I had to make room for the vocal to sit. Okay, but only thing that this does is basically take the sound in that range out of the mid section. However much I reduced it, but it's going to still be on my sides. Let me bring my hands in so I can see on my sides. Okay, on my sides. Here we go. We'll do it this way. Field goal, right? On my sides, so that I still hear those frequencies on the side, and maybe not so much in the mid area, right? In these areas, as much as I dipped it out, or whatever the case may be. And then just got rid of some resonance in the Rhodes piano. And so let's go ahead and listen. We'll move to the next plugin. I'll let you listen one more time with the Pro Q3. All right, so the next plugin I brought in was the API. Now, the API is known for its top end that's very on like string type of instruments and stuff like that, that's got a good high end on it, right? And so as you look here, I got a high shelf going on here, and I'm boosting, all right, 7K. And I really have to find, like, okay, where I want to boost between 7 and 10, 12, whatever the case may be. 7 sounded better to me, gave me a little top end up there and a little air. And then I used a bell at the bottom, around 200, kind of give me some warmth in the Rhodes piano. So let's take a listen. I don't believe, I didn't do anything here, even though it's on, but I don't think I added anything in these ranges. Okay, so let's take a listen. Okay, so it got brighter, got a little fuller. It kind of fit in the mix better. And basically, those type of plugins, you just got, what you got. You got to turn the dial, turn the pod until it sounds good. Sounds like you want it to sound. And that's it. Using your ears. No, it's not a graphic type of EQ. So I just turn it. And then here I like the Fairchild. Fairchild, it actually brings some things out, makes things pop forward. Even if you just put it on there. All right. So I don't know, remember exactly, what I did, how much reduction I might have dialed in. I don't know. I just did it, okay, by ear, listening to it. And if it worked, it worked. And that's what I went with, okay? All right, let's take a listen. Okay, so you can hear that, right? That I just put that thing on there and things just popped out. It popped out. And that's what I was going for. Things just popped out, okay? That's why I put it on there, because it made that rose just come forward. It kind of blended, it mashed with the rest of the music, and that's what I wanted. All right, so we got this piano here. I'm just going to loop that. Let's take a listen. All right, so basically high passed on this, took out some resonant frequencies, gave a high shelf here, just boosted it to give some air, to bring some top in on the piano to make it a little brighter. And again, it worked. As you can see, things, you do what you have to do, to make things sound like you want it to sound. And then here goes the Fairchild again. It worked on my Rhodes, and guess what? It worked here too. So let's rock. As you can hear, things got fuller, the piano popped forward, and it sounded great. And at that point, I just left it alone. Okay, I just left it alone. All right, so let's move to the synth sound, because it's the next in line. And here we go. Let's see what it sounds like. And so it got brighter, okay, because I rolled off a lot of the low end on it, information. I didn't need that low end information. So I just got rid of it, all right? I just got rid of it. And I just rolled off some resonance here. And then to control some of the other stuff in this sound, some of the harsh frequencies, some of the brightness, I added soothe too, okay? To kind of smooth and soothe, to soothe too. It soothes things, you know what I mean? And so I added the soothe too. All right, check it out. So let's take a listen. I'm really enjoying myself right now. All right, because this is what I do and I love it. You know what I mean? So I'm really enjoying myself. So all right, so we got the soothe too. Here we go. Let's take a listen. Okay, so it soothed it out. It's hitting those resonant frequencies. It's pushing them down, kind of balancing the sound too at the same time. It's working. It's doing what I want. It's intended to do. It's doing what I want it to do, and that's all I can ask for. That's all I can ask for. And so next, I'll go to the guitar because at this point, once I get my main instruments in, then everything else is just, let's get it in there. You got what I'm saying? So once I got my main instruments vibing with the music, then, I bring in everything else. But the guitar is also an important part of the music itself. So let's take a listen. Guitar, and also added a large reverb to kind of give the guitar some depth, some space, so to speak. So let's take a listen. And we'll listen to it without the reverb too. We'll take that off. All right, here we go. All right, I'm gonna add the reverb on it. Let's go. And so what that did, it kind of pushed the guitar back in the mix. It didn't sound as pointy. I'll use that term. It sounds pointy, like ding, 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 like some tin instrument or something. And so it pushed it back. It pushed it in the mix. It gave it some depth. It gave it a little more width to it. You know what I mean? And that's what I was going for. So let's bring up the Pro Q3. All right, so here we go. Again, rolled off some of that low stuff I didn't need. Got rid of some stuff in this area. This is where the vocal sits, the intelligence of the vocal. So that's probably why I did that. Had some resonance in here somewhere. And also did a high shelf. Boosted up the top, give it some air. Okay, let's take a listen. All right, so as you can see, without that being engaged, it kind of got dull, right? So it got kind of dull. So let's go to the next plugin. All right, so the next plugin we got is the Neutron 3. And it's the comp. All right, so I did some compression on this thing. Let's take a listen. Okay, so you can hear it pop out, the track kind of gel, things feel a little more sped up and a little bit more exciting, and that's what I was going for. All right, so last plugin I added on the guitar, I wanted to give it some saturation, saturate some of those other frequencies, to bring out some of those other harmonics in the sound, give it some more warmth to make it sound more live in a sense, you know what I mean? So let's take a listen. So as you listen to that, just take a listen and focus. If I ask you to focus on something, focus on it. So focus on how basically the entire mix sounds, but also listen to what happens to the bass, and listen what happens to the snare when I engage this thing or disengage it. Let's take another listen. So what I hear the mix opening up. Things got open. Things got more balance. I got more snap. It kind of just made things feel like they belong. You know what I mean? Like they go together, they gel together, and it's one cohesive unit. All right, cohesive unit. I like that. All right. So next, we got electric guitar. I don't know where that's playing. Oh, right here. It's only playing in a couple spots. So I'll go to the end. We'll listen to it from here and see what's going on with it. All right, so let's take a listen. Let me change that loop and just play this part right here so we can hear what's going on. Check it out. So that kind of opened it up. It made room for other things to shine. And that's what you want. You know what I mean? It's working. It's working for my good. You know what I mean? So we keep it working for our good. And then, of course, I come back to my transparent compression. Add some more compression. See, I got my threshold down here. So let's see what happens. I don't know if you can hear that, but listen, that sounds like music. When that compressor's engaged, it just gives it this vibe. It just does what it does. All right, so we're gonna play the brass now, okay? Let's bring the brass in. All right, let's go. So we'll start here. Let me see, we got brass. We got brass in here somewhere. So let's see what's popping right here. All right, let's play it from here. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I need to say anything. If you got a good listening environment, I think you can hear what's popping. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I need to say a word. You know, I did get rid of some of this up here. on the high side with a high pass, but kind of dipped it out because, get rid of some of those frequencies I didn't need. It was too bright and I needed to tame it. So I got rid of it. That's what you do. And rolling off the bottom end, a little bit, gave me space to let other things that needs to be sit down in that frequency spectrum, in that range. It gave them space. It gave them space to breathe. Got rid of some of these harsh resonant frequencies that I didn't like, and I just basically I go down as far as I need to. You can see some of these numbers, they're not the same. It's just, hey, that sounds good. So sounds good, that's what I go with. All right, so we're gonna move to the lead. So we got a lead right here. So let's go to the lead. And I did not add a compressor to that brass, okay? All right, so just keep that in mind. You might think, oh, he just did that and did. No, no. It's all about doing what needs to be done. Using what needs to be used. And that's what I do. I use what needs to be used, okay? So let's get into it. All right, so we got my handy dandy Swiss Army knife Pro Q3 fab filter. Love it. It does add some type of coloration to your sound, but it's not as transparent as other EQs, but it gives you what you need. It's got everything. All right, so let's rock. Okay, it kind of opened up, and those sounds are layered, so you may or may not hear it, but everything's not meant to be heard. Everything is not meant to be heard. Some things are just meant to be felt. You got me? I want to feel it. It's just like there's some things that we believe that we can't see. We can't even put our finger on it. But guess what? We can feel it. Yes, sir. We can feel it. Let's go. Let's feel it. All right, here we go. All right, so here we go. More compression, transparency, right? Let's take a listen. Man, that stab got like bam, 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 and it just like hit you in the chest. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you want. It hits you in the chest. You know what I mean? Man, listen, you can feel that, right? It just got bam, bam, bam. It got live, and that's what I want, man. It got live. All right, so the next instrument is the horn. Same thing. It's doing some things, but some things I didn't do. Rolled off some, boosted to the high shelf here. Not much. Just give it a little air, a little top end. Let's go. Let's rock. Let's see what it sounds like. Yeah. So it's just opened it up. It just opened things up, gave things space. Things are breathing. And then we got our last instrument here. Orchestra hits. Same thing. Rolled off some stuff. Got rid of some frequencies I didn't like. Gave a little shelf here. Not much. Just a little bit. Not even a dB. Let's take a listen. Okay, so that's my instruments. Now, I did have an instrument bus on this mix. Some mixes I don't have an instrument bus. I did add one. It depends on what I'm working on and how big it is. I do have mixes that are very large with live instruments and singers and stuff like that with harmonies and stacks and hooks. All that stuff, right? But this is just not one of those videos. Maybe I'll do one in the future when those records are released. But I did add some saturation. All right, and I'm gonna let you hear once I turn the saturation off. And I did a general saturation. Didn't want much. Did use the high quality because I want high quality in everything I do. All right, so let's take a listen. Okay, so that just basically it just opened it up. It glued it together. It boosted some frequencies, not by EQ, but harmonics in areas that I wanted to boost it. You know what I mean? I wanted to. It brought it out. It just opened it up. It just made it, what it needed to be, and I loved it. You know what I mean? I loved it. Make this inactive. So next we're gonna talk about vocals. Okay. So here's the next part. We're gonna get into vocals. So check it out. We're gonna jump into vocals, and we're gonna keep it moving. I'm giving the people what they want. You want audio examples. You want to see what these plugins are doing. Hopefully you're getting my thought process in what I'm doing. I know you guys see me with my glasses on, but I need them in this case because I'm starting to not be able to see that screen very well. Being sitting here all day and you're looking at a screen, man, mess your eyes up. All right. So we're gonna get into the vocals, and we're gonna start with the lead and just kind of go through and tell you what I got going on the vocal. Start with the lead vocal, and as you can see, it's cut up pretty much a lot. And the reason being, let me go to the first lead. Here we go. So we're gonna start here, and so this vocal, I like to do manual cleaning. I've said it in many of my videos, and I'm gonna do a video on some of that in the future. If you like to see it, I'll do a video on that in the future. If you'd like to see it and show you how I like to clean it up and why, kind of give things the S's and all that. Because every plugin I've said in videos in the past, every plugin that you add adds something to what you're doing. Unless it's a plugin that's very transparent, it won't change your sound. And so I like to go in and I like to clean up stuff. I like to get rid of the clicks and pops, the breaths, and everything. It's just general cleaning, like house cleaning. You know what I mean? But while I'm doing it, I like to de-ess manually. And you can de-ess with Melodyne. That'll allow you to do it. I think SyncArt, the repitch, it'll let you de-ess in there. But as you add those to your chain, it's going to add some type of effect to your vocal. And I try to avoid that. And that's why I do things manually. It takes a little longer. But at the end of the day, I get the results I'm looking for. And I know people are like, oh, that takes too long. I ain't got time for all that. Well, maybe I do have a little time for it. And I just like stuff to be clean. All right. So I'll get rid of all the processing on the vocal, and you'll just hear it in its raw form. I do have a large reverb on it. I got a plate, and then I got a quarter delay on the vocal. And basically, what I'll do is I'll kind of solo the vocal first, and then I'll put it with the music. Then you guys can hear what it sounds like with the music. Or actually, I'll play it with the music, to see what's going on. All right, so in any case, we can listen to it now. I'll leave the effects on. I won't cut those off, so let's take a listen.
Once again, it's on. it's pouring. So much weight on my chest, don't know which way I'm going. Darkness, it knows how to creep. It's taking over my sleep. All night long, I just seem to weep. Feeling so confused, my body feels weak. But still, my heart says trust. In you, for you, I must.
Okay, so let's solo the vocal so we can see what's going on here on the vocal. We can listen to the song later, but let's solo the vocal, see what's going on the vocal, so we can really find out what's going on. All right, so first off, I got a lot of subtractive going on. I always start with subtractive EQ for boosting anything, and here I found it looks like a lot of frequencies that were giving me issues and were bothering me, and so I took them out. All right. And also, as you do static reduction here, it can also change the sound of the source of the vocal itself. But if it needs it, you got to do it. If the things there are there constantly, then get rid of it. If it's not there all the time, then just use a dynamic type of EQ or use a multiband or something like that, just to control it when it happens, so that when it's not there, you're not taking out information more on a part that doesn't require it. Okay, so you can see I got some reduction going on, high pass. I got a low shelf doing some dynamic EQing here just to control the low end, and then I have also a dynamic here because, again, the problem wasn't always there, so I just use a dynamic in this example. So let's take a listen.
Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. So much weight on my chest, don't know which way I'm going. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring.
All right, so think you can hear it. It got clearer. It popped forward more, and yeah. So let's keep moving. So my next plugin, I love the UAD 1176. Works pretty much on everything. So I love this fast attack, and once I put this on there, I'm dialing in how much gain reduction first off that I want. Say I want 5 dB gain reduction or 6, then that's what I'll dial in with my input, and then I'll adjust the output here just to kind of continue with the same level as the vocal was before I put it on there. As far as the attack time, I like to just kind of leave it where it's at, and then I'll dial in how much release time I want. All right, so let's take a listen.
Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring.
All right, so it made the vocal jump forward, and that's what I wanted. It smoothed it out, controlled it more, and just kind of gave it more, put it more up front. And now I'll go to the Potec. Now on the Potec, I just up top 10K, boosted it up about a little 2 dB. I did not mess with the low frequency. Sometimes I will, depending on the song, boost this to 100 because it'll give me a boost down there to give me a little bit more warmth. But in this case, I didn't think I needed it, and so I just didn't do it. So let's take a listen.
Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring.
Now, as you can hear, it got bright, it got in your face, it sounded clear, and that's what I was going for, okay? So let's go to next. We got the Neutron 3 EQ, all right? So on this EQ, I wanted to remove some of the low end here, and which I did. So I did a low shelf to kind of give it separation from the kick drum to allow the kick to live, and anything down in that frequency range to live. Got rid of some resonance here. I felt I needed at the top some more intelligence here of the vocal so that I could hear what was being said in the vocal, like the words, boosting the intelligence area kind of clears that area up where you actually hear the words, okay? Then I gave it some presence around here, and then I gave it a little shelf. Not a whole lot, it's just very small, okay? All right, let's take a listen.
Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring.
As you can hear, got a little more air to it, right? A little more clear, a little more sheen, and so forth. And then the next plugin we got the Pro DS. All right, so let's take a listen.
Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring.
Now, as you can hear, how it really clamped down on those S's and T's and all that kind of stuff. So it just clamped down on it. And then I came back with the R box, all right, from Waves. And I used this because I wanted to control the vocal more, but also when you start to understand the plugins and what they sound like, you know how, like, okay, I want this effect, right? So I already know what plugin to grab. And this is going to actually push my vocal forward more, give me more presence and up front. Watch this.
Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's...
I guess you can hear that. It kind of pushed the vocal forward, gave it more presence up front and in your face. And that's what I wanted. Now, Soothe, I love this plugin. One of my go-tos, one of my favorites. I put it on here just to control that top end and some other frequencies in the spectrum. So let's take a listen. And I use it at about 60% in the mix. So it's like parallel processing. So it's not fully 100% on there, okay? So it's just like parallel processing. So let's take a listen.
Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring.
And so it gave it a vibe. It kind of put the vocal in a space, at the same time. I don't know if you could hear that, but the vocal got put into a space and it just sounded good. It kind of gave it put it in a pocket, and actually could, as the vocal was playing, I could actually feel the rhythm itself at the same time. So I put it in a space. And so I like to, after that, hit it with some Saturn, okay? And this is basically gonna give it some warmth, that tube sound, because in the pro level, you're gonna probably run your vocals through probably about 3 tubes, whether it be the CL1B, then you got the microphone itself, that's probably a tube mic, and then whatever other processing that's going on in the box. So you're probably gonna hit about 2 or 3 tubes going in vocals. So let's check it out. So we're gonna add that tube.
Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring.
All right, so I'm playing it a couple times. I'm playing everything a couple times because I want y'all to hear. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to rewind the video. Okay, let me listen again. I'm gonna try to give you enough audio so that you can hear what I'm hearing. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go next to the Pro L2 fab filter, and so what I'm doing with this is mainly controlling peaks. That's it. I just want to control the peaks. Uh, Maybe 1 to 2 dB of peaks just to keep the vocal in a space. All right, just keeping it in a space. All right, so because as far as rap vocals, you want those things to be locked in. All right, and I want these vocals to be locked in. All right, so let's take a listen.
Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring. Once again, it's on. Life brought me stress and it's pouring.
Okay, so it kind of locked it in. It also, to me, in my ears, it kind of brought it forward also. And yeah, so that's the lead vocal. And so that's both verses. And here you'll see I got some parts that I pulled out. Basically, this is a background, but just to highlight, so to speak, to highlight a part here. And pretty much the processing on this here, let me make the arrow big, is pretty much the same as on this track. So I don't need to go over that. Here, there are parts I got kind of lazy, I guess. And I wanted to do some automation. And so I kind of just put things down here to do that. And basically just took it from the lead. All right, so let's take a listen, see what that sounds like.
All night long, I just seem to weep. Feeling so confused, my body feels weak. But still, my heart says trust.
So I added effect on it. Let me see what's there. So as you can see here, probably one of the quarter delay, which is this plugin, this send right here. I just added more of that on that part because I wanted to hear a little delay on that part.
All night long, I just seem to weep. Feeling so confused, my body feels weak. But still, my heart says trust.
All right, so it just gave it a little bit of a delay. I could have done that on the lead track, but again, I just did it down here. And the same thing here at the end, same thing. But as far as EQ and processing, maybe a little different. I do have a Pro Q3 at the bottom. And basically, I made it sort of like a background type of effect. Okay? So I kind of rolled off some stuff and made it kind of like a background vocal. All right, so let's move to the pre-hook. Now, the pre-hook is a little different. So let's take a listen. Some of the processing now, mostly being it's the same artist, is the same, minus a few things, all right? So on this vocal, I do have a half delay ping pong on here also, okay? But if I let you hear this vocal by itself, this is what it sounds like. Without the half delay, so I'm gonna let you see how it sounds just like the lead, so let's listen.
In the worst of life, there's hope.
Also, you don't see here on my channel, but I do have Melodyne and Auto-Tune embedded in this vocal. So I had to do some tuning of this vocal and also added some Auto-Tune to that vocal, okay? But you don't see it here, but I did do it. It's embedded or rendered, whatever definition or however you want to say it, it's in the vocal, okay? So it's already in the vocal.
In the worst of life, there's hope. Shine like the most, you're the GOAT. A present help you stay close, and we gon' be alright for sure.
All right, so it's already in the vocal. Now I'm gonna turn on the half delay. All right, half delay ping pong. So listen.
In the worst of life, there's hope. Shine like the most, you're the GOAT. A present help you stay close, and we gon' be alright for sure.
All right, so they wanted this song to sound like a pop song, okay? And so I had to figure out, okay, how to make that vocal pop, like a pop song, to make it pop, okay? And so I chose the microshift by Sound Toys. And so let's take a listen once I engage it.
In the worst of life, there's hope. Shine like the most, you're the GOAT. A present help you stay close, and we gon' be alright for sure.
And so I just basically I put that right on the channel, right in the chain at the bottom, about 50% mix. So it's like a parallel. So you got the blend of the microshift and the actual vocal itself to give it some width, add a stereo effect on it to get the vocal spread out and give it some type of pop feel. Okay, so let's take a listen.
In the worst of life, there's hope. Shine like the most, you're the GOAT. A present help you stay close, and we gon' be alright for sure.
Now let's put that in context with the music. So let's take a listen.
In the worst of life, there's hope. Shine like the most, you're the GOAT. The GOAT. A present help you stay close, and we gon' be alright for sure. Stay in.
Okay. And so, again.
In the worst of life, there's hope. Shine like the most, you're the GOAT. The GOAT. A present help you stay close, and we gon' be alright for sure. Stay in.
Okay. So you can hear that kind of got a pop effect, and that's pretty much the only difference with this microshift. It's on this vocal, half delays on that vocal, and as we move down, we then have like a background vocal. I don't have that same effect on there, but it's just kind of, it's more like the lead itself, and so I'll kind of left it that way. And then we got the hook. Hook is similar to the pre-hook here. It has the microshift on there, the half delay, and so that's pretty much the same as well. And let's move down. So I'm not showing you these things, allowing you to listen to those things because they're the same. And as far as the processing on there, it's the same. So there's no need for me to waste the time playing those things. You'll get an opportunity to hear the entire song because I'll leave a link after I'm done with the video so you guys can listen, okay? So let's go down here to the end. And so this is the bridge, pretty much the same processing as the pre-hook, got the half delay. So I'll let you hear that.
Step, step, side to side. If you know he's in the midst of your plight, hold up, now bring it back. When it comes to loving you, he won't slack. Step, step, side to side. If you know he's in the midst of your plight, hold up, now bring it back. When it comes to loving you, he won't slack. Stay in the fight.
All right, so we got the same thing going on here. Got the microshift. Pretty much the processing is the same on that. We then have another, I think this is another artist here. Let me see.
Step, step, side to side.
And I think his processing is similar. Let me see. Similar processing. Yep, similar processing. Yep, similar processing. Yep, pretty much. All right, so pretty much I got similar processing on him too. All right. Sometimes if it works, it works. I try it out. If it don't work, then I'll do something different. Okay, but there's similar processing on there, on his vocal as well. So I don't need to really go into that, breaking down because the processing is similar. Minus the microshift that's on these other channels here. Talking about here and here. Same thing, okay? So when it comes down to it, effects, I do have a large reverb, which is here. And I got, basically I'm dipping out some frequencies prior to the reverb. Then I'm using the Valhalla vintage verb plate. All right, so basically this is a plate, but it also says large. I don't know what I did here. Maybe I made a snafu, okay, or something. Let's see. I guess okay. Well, maybe I got another one. So maybe I use a different verb on another part versus another part. Not sure, unless I go deep dive. and go back up and see what I did. Because sometimes as I'm mixing, I might change some things and don't relabel it just for time's sake. I just keep moving and don't relabel it. And and when you're doing stuff like this, it can get confusion, right? So it might be best that I go back and label those things. And so on this effect, I put the EQ after the plate. Sometimes I do it just the opposite. And the reason I did it this way because it sounded better to me. I A lot of times you'll find the EQ before the reverb plugin to kind of clean it up so it's not washy and in the way of your music and so forth. And so I'll play with it back and forth to see what sounds better. That's what I do. And if I like it better being at the bottom, then I do that. All right. And then we got a concert hall on this. I like the bright hall mostly, but in this case, I use the concert hall. And also, I'm using bass time effects. Okay. So all these effects I'm using are calculated. That's just what I do. I like to use bass time effects. And then similar EQ, rolling off some stuff there. And then I got H delay. And again, sometimes I'll put the EQ before or after, or sometimes I may not put an EQ at all. It just depends on how it sounds to me. And then I will just do it that way. If it sounds good without it, then I'll go without it. But I also roll off on the high pass, and then I also roll off on the low pass. And this is automated. That's why this has got a red rectangle around it, because it's automated and it's doing something in the mix, okay? Somewhere in the mix. Then here, let me see, whether quarter delay? Yeah, quarter delay. Then I added reverb here to my delay because I don't like dry delays. If you watched any of my previous videos, you would know that I always put a reverb, on my delays. And then we got the ping pong, same thing. And so pretty much that's the mix breakdown of the song titled Hold On. I hope you guys got a lot out of it by listening to what I did. And if there's questions, then get back at me. And later on, I plan to bring to you guys, if you like, top-down mixing. I think that's something I'm going to let you guys know about, because I do top-down mixing, where I used to not be a fan of it. But in this case, I'm going to stop here. Hope that you got something out of what you just saw. A little bit more detail, a little bit more audio being played, so that you can bring your mix to the next level, sounding great. Why did it do that? Does it take a whole lot? Whether it takes a whole lot, that depends on your input. I hang my coat on, I hang my hat on input. If your input's not correct, then it's going to take a lot to get it to sound good. So you got to make sure that the instruments you're using, that the samples you're using are quality. You got to make sure that when you're recording as a recording engineer, as you're recording your artist singing, that the vocals are quality, that the vocals sound with how they need to sound. They got the right energy. Words are being pronunciated the right way. It's got the right feel. Is it vibing with the track? What is he listening to as he's rapping, or what is she listening to as he's singing? Are we vibing off the hi-hats? Are we vibing off some other percussive instrument or the bass line? What are we vibing off? And does it all gel at the end of the day? So you got to make sure the input is right when it comes to getting a good mix. Because if you don't have good instruments, I don't care how much you do to it, it's just never going to sound as best or as good as it can sound. So just make sure, first and foremost, that your sound sources are quality, because the input is important when it comes to mixing. And that will determine how much work you will have to do when you're mixing someone else's song. So just make sure of that first. And if things don't sound right, it's okay to say, no, I'm not mixing that. It's okay. It's okay to say, hey, no, I'm not mixing that, because it's going to be too much work, and I'm never going to get a bad singer to sound like a good singer. You get my point? I'm never going to get a bad singer to sound like a good singer. So with that being said, this is Hold On, Mix Breakdown, Missiono, DJ Metamorphosis. This is Don T Records Music Group. If there's anything I missed, there's anything that you want to know in more detail, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Let people know that what we got going on over here. Hey man, I'm just going to say peace and have a blessed day. Have a blessed night. Just be blessed, period. Alright, let's go. Don T Records Music Group, out.
When it comes to loving you, he won't slack. Step, side to side. If you know he's in the midst of your plight, hold up, now bring it back. When it comes to loving you, he won't slack. Stay in the fight and hold on tight, yeah. And we gon' get through the night. We walk by faith and not by sight, yeah. And we gon' get through the night. We gon' get through the night.